All right, so today's Fireside Chat is brought to you by Rally, the unofficial post-session beer. Cheers, Rob. Cheers.
Max, what were your first thoughts when you saw Wingman?
All right, so for sure, my first thoughts were why. I think that's what everybody's asking. Why am I going to wing instead of windsurf or kiteboard? And at first, I didn't know either. But what it has done is opened up so many different opportunities for me in regards to freestyling and wave riding.
For me, one of the issues that came up this past summer was beach access. A lot of beaches got closed. Winging offers you an option where you can go to water access points where you couldn't necessarily launch a kite. All you need is, foot access to get in the water, and you can carry your gear in. You don't have to set up your lines. You don't need necessarily clean wind at the shore to launch your kite. You get in the water and you can get out the wind line and go enjoy yourself.
Total game changer for guys like yourself. It's one board, and then instead of having to bring a whole rig and maybe ultimately multiple masts, sails, maybe a couple booms, extensions, etc., you have a bag and a pump, and that's it. And I think that's kind of cool. And the fact that you literally, all you have is one board and maybe like a backpack that's taking up the rest of the space in your car. You can still fit the kids in there, I guess, if you have any, and or a couple homies or whatever. And just definitely a space saver compared to windsurfing.
I think something that we've both come to realize is the wave riding potential is pretty incredible. In kiting, you're always dealing, especially in our local conditions where it's typically onshore, you're always dealing with a kite that always has some residual pull to it, so it's always affecting your ride on the wave, or you're worried about your kite falling out of the sky or lines going slack because it's onshore conditions. The wing lets you completely shut off your power source and ride the wave, which I think gives you a freedom that you can't find with kiting, and I think is similar to...
Yeah, it's definitely really similar with windsurfing, and I think there is something to be said for sure for windsurfing and waves still. It's super fun, and I think we call it windsurf wave foiling. That style of riding is still super engaging, but when it comes to winging, the fact that you have that much less board engaged in the water, the maneuverability factor and the way you can make turns as you start to develop with the sport is for sure like nothing else, at least at the level that I've gotten to so far. And I think one thing for sure to mention is that as you start to get better over the years, you're going to be using maybe higher aspect or more faster foils, maybe things closer to maybe 1250, 1300, and that's what I'm using too. I'm using the slim medium, and when you're engaging your turns, these really, really fast dynamic turns with a foil that size, it for sure definitely feels like prone foiling, or as close as you can get to something like prone foiling without obviously not having a wing, and not having any sort of way to get there without cheating, basically, like you were saying earlier. Especially recently, experiencing some rides on those, slimmer, higher aspect foils, making more dynamic turns. That for me, it is kind of really when the switch flipped, and I think there's going to be tons of people doing this kind of style of the sport on the Great Lakes in the years to come, which is crazy. We're on lakes, but the bumps are sick. Riding bumps on a lake and on lake waves, it's super fun. The foils feel those waves, these small waves that we're getting, because you're on a foil and there's that much extra lift, there's that much extra push, it feels like you're riding, I don't know, head high up to logo or mast high. We use those measurements for windsurfing. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Definitely. You feel that acceleration instantly in your foil.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It doesn't seem like anything when you're looking at it from the beach, but when you're out there and you hit a little bump with the foil, you take off right away. It's insane.